Hello again, everyone. Michael Teskey, the National Sales Manager with Petawise Technologies in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And today we're going to talk about mounts. And in particular, we're going to talk about a new mount that we offer. The model number on this mount is TR-360-IN. So this is the mount here. Now, you can see it's got a hole in it. It's got a threaded hole in the top, and you're probably wondering, what kind of mount is this? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about this today and the different ways you can use this mount. This mount is particularly going to excel when you're using it with our IPC 360 SB-ADF16KM-IO. This camera, I'll bring it into the scene here in a moment, but this camera is a 180-degree turret camera. And the way this mount works, I'll bring in a camera into the scene here, and you can see this camera has a bubbled lens on the outside. So this camera can see 180 degrees. And the nice thing with this mount is you throw the two cameras, one on each side, and you can see that the camera would mount like so. Now we would have another one mounted on the other side here, and the cables would stay inside. Let me just see if I can bring another camera in here. So we got another camera, identical, and we're going to loop the cable around here, just kind of pretending that it is connected in this mount here. So it'll give you a good picture of how this mount works. All right, so you can see that is basically how this unit is going to work. You can see there's one 180 camera on one side, and when I spin it, you can see there's one 180 camera on the other side. Now these are both turret cameras, and this is made to be pendant mounted from a ceiling. You can mount it different ways, and I'm going to go through that. But basically what this does is you're going to aim these two cameras down from a ceiling or on a pendant mount, and each camera is going to look down more than a 45-degree angle, so that the bottom image, the bottom of the image on each camera almost connects to each other, or does connect to each other. So it's going to give you a full 360-degree view. Now keep in mind, if you're using this application, you are going to need to run two CAT cables, Cat 5e, Cat 6 cables, because each camera is going to take up one channel. This may be a better solution than a 360-degree fisheye camera in certain applications. And we will show some screenshots of this, and how it looks in a real working example. But it's kind of hard to hold this all together, so I'm going to take these cameras out and show you how the mount works. All right, so you can see the mount here. The mount does have a threaded hole on the top. Now you can see there's a threaded hole, and the mount kind of is on an angle for each camera. Now what I have in my hand here is our TR-CM24-IO. Now you can see this has got a plate. Generally this is going to be ceiling mounted, or what we call pendant mounted. And this unit can be threaded into here. Now if you need to drop this farther down from the ceiling, you can actually add an extension onto this CM24. You can add our part number TR-SE24-A-IN. That is just an extension that goes on this CM24. Now if you need to drop it further, you can add multiple SE24s onto this CM24. And then, this just threads right into this JB360. And that is how it would look hanging from a ceiling, something like that. And then you would have your two cameras. Your wires would run through this this CM24. Now, there is different ways to mount this JB360, and I'm just going to kind of show here. We'll get that out. Now, here I'm bringing in what is called our full-size PTZ mount. Now, this one is called our TR-WE45-A-IN. This is typically seen mounted to our JB12 back box. It's a larger back box. It's for full-size PTZs. It's great for servicing large-size PTZs because you could just open the door and you can swing this out and do service on the camera if needed. Now, you can also mount this back box to this. Now, it might not make sense, having two 180-degree cameras mounted onto there, but you're probably wondering this threaded hole is much smaller than this hole. So where that comes into play, we have our TR-AD21-IO. This is a little adapter. It's got a larger thread on the top here and a smaller thread on the bottom. So what you can do is you can thread this into this JB360. Now you have a larger thread. And then this guy can be mounted to our WE45. There we go. So I'm not going to screw it all in, but you get the idea. You can, have it like this. Now you can also mount this WE45 to what's called our TR-UC08-A-IN. And that is a corner mount that can go on a corner of a building. Once this mounts to our UC08 and you have your this WE45 mounted to the UC08, this is now going to be on a corner of a building. And this would be a great application if you want to mount two 180-degree cameras. You can picture it on the corner of a building, and then you would have a 180-degree camera looking one way and a 180-degree camera looking the other way. That would give you a lot of coverage, basically 360-degree coverage with those two JB360 cameras. So I'm going to take this apart, and what we're going to do is we're going to show you some real working examples of how this camera looks, because people always want to see what the camera looks like, in a real working example or scenario.